Lisa Lenrow is also a board member on the End Brain Cancer Initiative. She's on our actual board as well. And she also holds an officer position as our board secretary as well. She has an MBA and is a certified patient and research advocate. She's a professional healthcare marketer during the day. And she is a rock star volunteer for the brain tumor community and makes her late husband's voice heard by advocating for funding for new treatments. I would like to welcome everyone to Lisa. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thanks, Joanne, and everybody who's a part of this call today. It's my honor. Excuse me, as Joanne mentioned, my name is Lisa Lenrow. Wanted to mention I'm across the country from all you folks. I'm in suburban Philadelphia. So hello from the East Coast. And as Joanne mentioned, I work in healthcare marketing. But it was after my husband's journey with cancer that I became a certified patient advocate. That's the PPALS, professional patient advocate for the life sciences. And, you know, I am a rockstar volunteer, as Joanne said. I really enjoy the work that I do for EBCI and a few other organizations as well. But like so many of you, I was thrown into the role of being a caregiver when in 2018, my husband was diagnosed with glioblastoma. I wanted to be the best care partner possible, but that just wasn't possible because caregiving is not routine. As you're all aware, caring for a cancer patient is complicated and very unpredictable. Let me take a minute just to tell you a little bit about me, give you my backstory. I was 16 when a fortune teller predicted that I would marry late in life. And over the years, boyfriends came and went, and I really began to wonder how late in life is late. It was 49. I was 49 years old when I met my beloved husband. We were married in October of 2016, and together with our 2 fur children pictured here, we made a very happy family of 4. It was then just 2 years later, we spent our second wedding anniversary in the hospital receiving his diagnosis of grade 4 GBM. Advances in brain tumor treatments could have allowed us to celebrate many more anniversaries. And it's this whole journey about John, his diagnosis until today, that has fueled my desire to want to share my story in hopes of making a difference. I want to be honest, I've given you my credentials. I'm not a social worker. We've just heard from 2 very, very talented and qualified, certified individuals. I'm just someone who experienced what you're going through. I'm sharing what I did to help myself. I'm hoping that maybe you'll find a nugget or 2 to help you get through this difficult time. There is no what to expect book that helps you prepare for the challenges of caring for a loved one who's ill. In addition to being in shock and having my life upended, I knew that I'd have to be strong for my husband because there are a lot of things that would fall onto me. For me, organization helps me deal with stressful situations. And the best purchase I made is this whiteboard that's pictured right here. It's from Staples, and it was a game changer for me. What I did, as you can see, this is the month of February that's pictured. I put all of our appointments on there. I tacked on all the business cards of all of those doctors and specialists. And it just really, because John's memory was affected, it allowed him to understand what was going on and allowed me to be more productive because I could plan knowing about our different appointments. I also wanted to say, have fun, enjoy an activity together. For us, John and I gathered around our dining room table and we did puzzles that were about 100 pieces each. It wasn't the idea of the puzzling for me. It was talking to John the way that I would always speak to him, doing an activity together that helped him. And for us, we really enjoyed doing jigsaw puzzles. I want to say be optimistic. New and effective treatments are on the horizon. Researchers are aggressively investigating new therapies. Look into clinical trials and learn about eligibility. Clinical trials, as we heard help the entire brain tumor community. They're safe, and the patient may actually receive extra medical attention once they're part of the study. So they're really something that you should try to put a little time and attention towards. As we've heard from others, it's really important to engage with the healthcare professionals, as others have said, like your team. Throughout my husband, I thought my husband was going to walk out of the hospital just like he walked into the hospital for his craniotomy. That might have been the case for some, but it wasn't the case for us. You know, recovery for John, it did start in the hospital, but I didn't understand that it was going to be a process. He needed to go into a rehab facility to overcome his left side deficit, and the hospital staff helped me make those arrangements. And as we've heard, speak up. Don't be afraid to ask questions and talk to clinicians about what you found in the research. As we've heard, give them a phone call, you know, talk to them before and after tumor board meetings, you know, ask about the disease and the treatment. And what I put on this slide here are some questions that I wish I had asked. So for example, what rehab services will the patient need? How might I arrange them? How should we prepare the home? How might I receive a walker or commode? What is the treatment process? And is the patient eligible for a clinical trial? These are all questions that I had wished I had thought of and had asked earlier on in our journey. I had said that organization's my thing, but if it's not yours, you know, call upon friends, family, and members of your neighbor and your neighbors to help. I was initially uncomfortable with that, but you know, friends took a huge weight off my shoulders. I really appreciated the meals that they made. You know, if they came to visit, I could step away for a minute and take a sigh, take a deep breath, you know, and as I just mentioned, their homemade meals were not only really good, but it made cleanup really simple. So don't be embarrassed. Don't be bashful. You're not getting a handout. Friends want to help, and to say I could use a meal, it gives them some way of providing the help that you said you might need. At the hospital and the rehab facility, there are a team of clinicians and social workers that are trained to help patients and caregivers. You know, John's primary care physician not only called to check in on him, but to check in on me. He always asked me how I was doing. And if I wasn't doing well, it was important that I was honest with him. You know, I wasn't able to sleep. You know, whatever the situation was, it was really heartwarming to know that I had a medical professional who was checking in on my well-being. As I said, people do want to help, and friends gave us, if you go back, there's this great game we were given, Qubit. It's a game that my friend's kids played, and she's like, I thought maybe you guys would enjoy playing this. It is such a great game. It stimulates the brain, and it uses special reasoning and memory skills. So it's really a born-in kind of therapy after surgery, and it's fun too. You know, another way that friends can help is give them a list of things that you need at the grocery store. I let my mother-in-law do laundry. I had friends come over to watch a football game, and not only was that a good diversion for me, but I could enjoy a glass of wine. I wasn't driving, so it allowed me to kind of relax a little bit. As I think Joanne said so beautifully at the beginning, you know, be good to yourself. It's hard in that, you know, I think maybe you might feel guilty, but it's very important. You know, connect with a friend for a lunch or go get a manicure. If you need a break from driving, I mean, that was probably one of my things that I hated the most, is that suddenly it all fell on me. But I didn't want to miss out on going to a party. So, you know what? I asked them if I could carpool with someone. You know, let someone else do the driving once in a while. It's A-okay. You know, I didn't realize I was even a trendsetter, but instead of mailing a birthday card because I simply didn't have time to go to the store, I sent an email or a text message. And in that same vein, set up a group text with people so that they can update other people. You don't have to do it all. Your friends want to help. It's an easy way for them to kind of keep everyone posted on what's going on, and send out a to-do list. Lisa could use help today getting X, Y, and Z from the grocery store. Pictured here is John. He's passed out taking a nap. And you know what? I very soon thereafter got on the other end of the couch and took a nap too. You know, rest when you can. And the fact that we were resting together really allowed me to have a solid nap and wake up feeling refreshed. You know, take a lesson from my husband's playbook and stare cancer down. By being resourceful, it won't control your life. You know, to continue my reduction of unnecessary stresses, I allowed extra time to get to our appointments. I packed lunches and snacks. That way we arrived early. We weren't stressed out. We were relaxed. We shared our snacks, and in that way we kind of shared a little spark of joy and camaraderie among the folks we were hanging with, even if it was during a treatment or while waiting for a medical appointment. Applying for and getting a handicap parking privileges really was a big help for me. I got mine through my physician, but your Department of Motor Vehicles can provide you with one easy to complete form, and the turnaround was really quick. So, I mean, that, you know, just by having handicap parking, I was able to park that much closer and not have to be schlepping the wheelchair or the walker or whatever it might be. In terms of being resourceful, you know, because my husband's radiation occurred in the winter months, I had to come up with a plan if there was bad weather. Under normal circumstances, John would have done the snow plowing or snow blowing, but I needed to find a company that would plow my driveway. That was something I asked my friends to help me find someone, and they did. For me, fashion needed to meet utility. So pictured here is a backpack. I asked my mother-in-law to give me a backpack as my Hanukkah gift. And the combination of the handicap parking and the backpack allowed me to be unencumbered. I could focus on caring for John and not have, be carrying a lunch bag and a tote bag and all the other things that we were always carrying. It just gave me, let my hands be free, and I could hold on tightly to my husband. And speaking of the holidays, this picture here is of my friends who wouldn't let us miss our annual celebration. They did everything. So, you don't have to miss out on all the good times that are up ahead. They brought the food, the cheer, and took care of it all. In addition, our friends did research clinical trials and new GBM treatments. An idea is to record sessions with doctors and let one of your friends prescribe them or transcribe them. I'm sorry. So keep in mind, you don't have to do it all. And these are just a couple of the tricks that I use. To keep ourselves mentally sane, John and I talked a lot. We expressed our feelings and our fears. We let nothing go unsaid. It made us closer than ever. These are hard conversations, but I have no regrets. So I encourage you to perhaps write in a journal. If you don't want to express them to another person, such as a counselor, but John and I did both of those things. We not only journaled, but we did each have therapists that we spoke with where we could be free, talk freely about our emotions and feel safe in a non-judgmental way. My advice is to try as hard as you can to have those scary, hard conversations. Yeah. And then there are only so many hours in the day. When I couldn't find time to go to the gym, I canceled the membership. When I wasn't enjoying the book I was reading, I set it down. I took a bubble bath. During this difficult time, find ways to forget about cancer. After my husband passed away, there's a quote here on the slide. I'm sorry it's not much bigger, but I came across this quote. It's really stuck with me. She silently stepped out of the race that she never wanted to be in, found her own lane, and proceeded to win. This sentiment has really, become my personal mission. It's how I want to honor my husband and allow his battle with brain cancer to make a difference. I'm compelled to volunteer for organizations like EBCI and, those whose mission I feel really passionately about. So my last slide is you know, just to say there are a lot of resources out there. John's diagnosis turned our world upside down. I mean, I felt like I was still a new bride, only 2.5 years that did we get to really be together. But the best thing that I could do was proactively organize my life and his medical appointments. And just know that as a caregiver, you're not alone. You can do this by leaning into other people, physicians, nonprofit organizations that want to help. Here's a list of resources. On the right is a poster that I saw in the elevator where John was being treated. So do what you need to make yourself feel better and take the time that you need to do that. Relax, recharge, and lean into these resources. They're here to help you. And I hope that I've provided you with a little help or tidbit today.
Thank you, Lisa, so very, very much. Really, very helpful and touching, because we all know exactly what you're saying. We're all feeling it, have felt it. And one of the things I wanted to say about journaling is I know that you'll go, I don't have time. You know what? Please take that 3 minutes a day or a night to journal, because those journals and those books will become lifelong gifts to you, but also inspired by your loved one. So I know it's hard, but definitely take that time to do so. So there on your screen is Lisa's contact information. If anyone has any questions or wants to connect with her, please feel free to do so.